Hello, my name is Neil, and this is JSUI Un Knob. Some of you may get that joke, some of you probably won't. I just wanted to show you this sort of silly project that I've been working on. And it started off, I was trying to teach myself JSUI so that I could build some graphic user interface elements for a project. And I picked the kind of rotary knob as something to kind of like cut my teeth on, because I figured that was probably the most difficult to kind of basic user interface element to learn how to make. And then as I kind of got further and further into it, I kind of started writing little customization things, so that mainly so I could kind of play around with things and get a feel for how things, kind of parameters and things interacted with each other, and then it started growing into this monster like patch, this bit of code, and I kind of got it to the point where I'm not sure what to do with it. It kind of seems like a useful tool, but one of the problems I've got with it is you can kind of fully customize a knob setup, and it's sort of like everything here is kind of parameterized via attributes inside the JSUI script. But what I can't figure out is where to take it next, and if it's even any use to anybody. The thing that I cannot do is I can't figure out how to kind of take all of these parameters and kind of change them and customize them, and then sort of take a snapshot of that. I've got some things to be reading up on and to investigate, but at this point in time, I can't actually get the data out of it to make it any use. And the other problem is that the actual code underneath is so sort of structured with options and parameters in mind that it really isn't the most efficient kind of JavaScript for making user interface elements, really. That's basically how this came to be. So I just try and quickly take you through the kind of all the okay. So just going from, I'll deal with the left side of things. It's more to do with sort of geometry stuff, and then all the color things are sort of separated into this side. So I'll try and run through geometry first, then color, but there will be some crossover because of the way elements are displayed. But this is the basic knob. Fundamentally, it's just a circle with a pointer, and when you click and drag the mouse in the box, it rotates the pointer, and you can see the output here is kind of normalized 0 to 1. And then going from the top, knob angle is the kind of the overall rotation angle that the pointer can go through. As you change that, you can reduce it sort of down to 180. So as you move it, the limits then become just 180 degrees. You go right down to 90, which is a bit silly, I guess, but and then all the way up to 340 a minute, which gives you the widest angle without. I mean, technically you could go 360, but then the kind of graphic elements start to run into each other. You'll see later. So that's the angle. The knob radius is, you could the kind of box here shows you the sort of actual size of the JSUI element, and you can resize that by dragging it. I'm in presentation mode, so we can't do that. But you can drag the box, and it will scale the whole thing within the box. But I wanted to be able to control the radius of the knob relative to the box size. So that's what that can do. So you can go down to 0.1, which, and then 0.5 is the entire box, which is 0.5 in radius. And the reason for that will become a bit more obvious once I show you some other elements. Knob shape I'll come back to. Actually, I'll skip all of this section because this is all to do with indicator types, which we've got set to none in a minute. Now, indicator isn't the white dot. The white dot here is pointer, which is these 4 parameters. And you can set various things. So you can, the most obvious one is the offset from that's kind of offset from the edge. And the reason it's kind of sticking out is because the pointer cap. So the cap is kind of like how the end of the line is drawn. So that's round. But is that's not very obvious because the length is short. But is like no cap at all. You can see that it ends right at the circumference. But the other two round, the kind of cap gets drawn on the end of the line. So if you use round or the square mode, then you'll find the offset more useful then. So you can offset it from the center, from the edge. Pointer length, you can go all the way to 1, which takes you to roughly to the, well, it would if it was on that mode. It'll take you to the middle. But you can actually go past 1 to 2, which both spans the whole knob if you want to create something like that. More obviously it's smaller than that, but I wanted to give you the option of taking it past the center really, so you could have one of those longer kind of pointer style. The two sides kind of match up somewhat. So the pointer color you can set here, so you can red or whatever, and you can set the alpha mode. So these two elements here are outline and highlight. So I'll do the outline first. The outline is kind of another circle that's drawn underneath the knob, and you can kind of like do different things with it. So I'll just change the knob color so this will be more obvious. So at the minute the outline offset is set to 0, so you can't see it. So as you increase that, you can't see anything. That's because the alpha's set to off. So I got the set to black and full alpha. So as you change the offset, it's a bit severe. You can see you can kind of like have it pretty wide if you want that kind of thing, or you could just reduce it right down to sort of just outline, as it says. Obviously, and this mode, this doesn't have any effect, the outline width. I'll come back to that. The highlight, you can actually just see it there because it's where the blue is brighter on the edge. But so you can set the width of that. You can see it gets thicker, and you can also set the offset of that. So you can kind of either use it like a stylistic thing, or if you want to go for something trying to simulate the kind of like the edge of a physical knob, if you like. Shadow I'll come back to, and I'll deal with the knob shape next. There's two types. There's round, which is this one, and there's fluted, which gives you kind of modular style knob, if you like, with the fluted edge, where you can still see the outline. Which I'll just turn that off so we can see what we're doing. And then these two highlight controls, they become controls for this kind of fluted geometry. So you can set the width, which actually just sets the number of flutes or ridges. I'm not sure what you call them. So you can do that, and the highlight offset then becomes the control of the inner radius of the flutes or ridges. You can actually set that to right to the edge, which almost gives you a round knob again, although the drawing code for that is pretty bad, so it doesn't quite get there. But you can also push it past 1, in which case the ridges become positive, and it gives you a kind of ridges on the outside instead. And all of this kind of obeys the knob angle and stuff. So as you reduce the angle, kind of reduces the range. Back up. So like I said, you can set the number of ridges, so you could have a lot of them, and change that back there. So that's the fluted knob shape. So I'll just go back to round for time being. Set for that back again. It's insensible. We'll just walk through the color stuff. Knob color is fairly self-explanatory. This is the only one that has a saturation control, because it felt like it was the only one that really needed it, and that was so you could sort of set like grayscale kind of knobs, but obviously you can turn the saturation up and set it to whatever color you like a grey one. Pointer color, again, it's pretty obvious. Set those. Outline color we dealt with. Highlight color, again, you can kind of change the color of this highlight, so you could have a more tinted version of it if you wanted to. And obviously you can set the alpha for the blend mode. And then shadow. At the moment it's you can't see it because the alpha's down, but if I turn the alpha up, and you can see it, the shadow appears. And again, you can change the color of the shadow if you wanted to, with some kind of color tone. But mainly I think you'd probably just be setting it to black and then use the alpha to change the strength. And obviously you can set the X and Y offset to be however you want it to. And the last thing to deal with is the indicator types. So as I said earlier, the indicator isn't this bit, this is pointer. Indicator is sort of like decoration around the knob. Some is just purely decorative, and then there's some animated dynamic ones that are kind of fairly useful as a visual indicator of where the knob is set. So the minute it's got set to none, and then these first two, line and line 2, they're just it's a bit weird. They're just fixed decoration, really. So you can set the number of segments is the first thing. So you can have it as kind of dense or as sparse as you like, and then obviously the more sparse you have it, you can set the width. There you go. You can also set the height or length, and the offset from the knob itself, which is kind of when I said earlier about wanting to be able to change the radius of the knob within the box. That's the reason, so that you could actually set a fairly small radius size and then offset that quite large and still keep within the limits of the JSUI box. And then if you wanted the whole thing bigger, you could just resize the box itself. The second, you can change the segment colors here. With the first one sets the color of those, so you could set that, and then you can set the border size here. It'll help if I set the alpha properly as well. So there's the border on those segments. I just change that back to thin. Line 2 is the same as line 1, but every other line is half the size, just for decorative purposes again. So then we get on to the dynamic or animated ones. So the first one, arc, draws a kind of coloured arc around the knob. You use the segment width to change the thickness of that bar, and this uses two of the segment colours. So one of them is the off colour and the other one is the on colour. So you can change that however you like, and same as the other one, you can change the offset position. And this is where the unipolar bipolar mode will be a bit more obvious. That's when you got the dynamic animated indicators. If you can set the normal operation is unipolar, so the knob goes from 0 to 1, left to right. In bipolar mode, the left is -1, and the center is 0, and right is 1. So it just gives you a different visual representation. And then the other 4 indicator types, the first 2 round LED style, and then the last 2 are rectangular ones. And in this mode, you can set three different segment color types. The first one is for the majority of the indicator, and then sort of mimicking console style controls. You can set like a threshold kind of indicator, a threshold limit indicator, just to, again, a visual thing. You could just set them all to the same color if you wanted to. And again, you can change these kind of knobs into bipolar as well. And in this mode, the first segment color is the left half, and the second segment color is the second half. In the first of these 2 modes, the kind of indicators that are beyond the pointer are black to sort of show that they're off. And in the second mode, it kind of uses alpha transparency instead. So with the knob off, you won't see any colours, and then as you turn it up, they will fade in. You can also set this parameter segment off alpha, which controls how visible the off indicators are. So you might prefer it to be completely off, or if you want to just get a sense of what the colours are, you can set the alpha there. And then the 2 square ones are sort of just the same really as the round LEDs, apart from it uses rectangles instead. Let's just go back to the round ones just for a minute. Same thing again, you can set a number of indicators. You can also set the width for the round ones. And you can set a border for them as well. Here we go. The alpha. Nope, wrong one. So you can set a border to emphasize those or not, and you can change the color there as well. And then the last 2, the square or rectangle versions, so same thing, but this time, as well as setting width, you can set height, which gives you some interesting options. So you could kind of like maybe set really shallow ones that are really wide to give you a different sort of flavor. I'll set them the same for more square indicators. and that's about it. So as I say, I've got to the point with the whole thing where I don't know what to do with it next, or if anything at all. If anyone's got any interesting suggestions, then just catch up with me on the Max Discord server, and see you there. Thanks for watching.